The nursery was almost finished. I stood in the doorway, one hand on the swell that had started to show a week ago, and watched Liam press dinosaur decals onto the pale green wall. He hummed something upbeat, an indie song we'd first heard at the outdoor concert where we decided, tipsy on cider and summer, to stop using protection, and every few seconds he glanced over his shoulder, grinning as though the sight of me was a prize he still couldn't believe he'd won. 2 months tops, he said, smoothing a stegosaurus so its tail lined up with the crib rail. Then we'll have a tiny roommate who actually thinks I'm cool. I laughed, because that's what you do when the man you love makes a joke about fatherhood while bathed in late afternoon light. But the laugh came out thinner than usual. It scraped the sides of my throat on the way up. The previous night I had done something I swore I would never do. While Liam slept, mouth open, one arm flung across my belly as if already protecting the life inside, I slipped his phone from the nightstand, opened the recently deleted folder, and ran the recovery app my tech-savvy colleague had mentioned over coffee. I told myself it was hormones, or anxiety, or the way he'd jumped every time his screen lit up lately. I told myself a lot of things. The texts restored in under 30 seconds. A thread, unnamed, just a string of digits. I tapped it. 11:42 p.m., Liam. I can't keep pretending this is what I want. 11:43 p.m., unknown. You said you'd tell her after the first trimester. 11:44 p.m., Liam. I know. But seeing the ultrasound today, she cried. I froze. 11:45 p.m., unknown. Freezing isn't a plan. I'm not raising a baby. I didn't agree to. 11:46 p.m., Liam. I need 2 more weeks. I'll figure it out. I read them 3 times, 4 or 5, the words rearranging themselves into increasingly ugly shapes. My heart didn't race. It slowed, as if deciding whether to bother beating at all. I put the phone back exactly how I'd found it, eased myself out of bed, and stood in the shower until the hot water ran out and the glass fogged so completely I couldn't see my own reflection. Now, watching Liam align dinosaurs beneath a mobile of felt planets, I felt the baby flutter, an almost imperceptible ripple, like a secret being whispered from the inside. A secret that already knew its father's voice, maybe even his lies. He crossed the room and crouched, pressing both palms to my bump. "Hey, little astronaut," he murmured, the same greeting he'd used since the 8-week scan. "Ready for launch?" I stared at the crown of his head, at the cowlick he'd passed on in every ultrasound photo where the technician swore she could already see hair. My throat filled with something sharp and metallic. "Liam." He looked up, eyes bright, expectant. I swallowed the metal. "We need to talk." His hands stilled. The room's new lamp smell seemed to thicken. "About what?" "About the texts you deleted." The color left his face in a single wave, like paint rinsed off a brush. He rocked back on his heels, sat on the rug we'd chosen because it was soft enough for tummy time. For a moment the only sound was the mobile's gentle clink as Earth bumped into Mars. "I can explain," he whispered. "You already did," I said. "At 11:42 last night." He dragged a hand through his hair, tugged at the ends the way he does when spreadsheets don't balance. "It's not. I don't. I was scared, okay? Terrified. I still am." "So am I shot back. But I didn't outsource my fear to someone else's uterus." The words hung between us like a mobile frozen mid-swing. He flinched as if I'd slapped him. "Maybe I had. I don't love her," he said finally. "I love you. I love this baby. I just panicked." "Panic," I repeated. "Is that the word we're using for convincing another woman to terminate a pregnancy you helped create?" His silence was answer enough. I felt the baby turn again, a slow, deliberate roll, as if rearranging itself to listen. I placed both hands over the bump, a shield, a microphone. "I'm going to my mother's tonight," I said. "I'll send for the rest of my things tomorrow. Please." His voice cracked. "Let me fix this." "You can't fix what you deleted, Liam. You can only live with the fragments." I walked out, leaving him surrounded by dinosaurs that suddenly looked less like childhood friends and more like relics of a world about to burn. In the hallway I paused, hand on the banister, and spoke without turning. The baby will know, I said. Kids are born knowing how to read the spaces between adults. You just wrote the first chapter of a story I refuse to let become theirs. I drove away while the nursery light was still on, a square of green glow in the rearview mirror, shrinking until it looked like just another star in a sky full of promises already broken.